Part 2 of Nutnfancy's tabletop review of the outstanding Glock 26 subcompact 9mm pistol. A really awesome choice for police officers as a backup gun. Might be a little bit heavy for that. I really would like to go lighter if I'm using an undercover gun of some sort. But a concealed carry permit holder and maybe some military types, depending if you have the latitude of choosing your own gun. Glock 26, outstanding choice. I left off in part 1 talking about durability and reliability, and I maybe didn't speak enough about the amazing reliability of the Glock 26 and the Glock 27. But to be honest, all my trigger time, not all, but most of my trigger time on the baby Glocks is in this one, the 9mm version. So that's why I'm reviewing it, and for the reasons I mentioned in part 1. But in the thousands of rounds that I've shot out of the Glock 26 since the mid to late 1990s, and I'm talking lots of rounds, I've never seen one jam, like ever. And that's included with all types of different bullets, hollow points, reloads, the extended magazines. The Glock 26 just chugs away. It's amazing. For a subcompact pistol, I have never found anything. Well, actually, let me just say, it's just perfectly reliable in my own experience. Now, does that mean that, dude, I know this guy at a range, he had a 26 and it totally jammed on him? Well, I ain't saying it never happens. I'm saying what I've seen. And I haven't seen it. So that's what I talk to, is my own experience. I do not go off internet rumor. I don't give a crap about that. I have to verify it if it's going into my videos. And I can verify my own experience. And that leads us into the next talking point, my own experience in accuracy. How accurate is this little tiny baby Glock? Well, let's go back to some of my 1996 targets. And I'll show you. Is that accurate enough? Again, I don't show you these to say, oh, I'm cool, look at me. What I'm talking to is the accuracy of the gun, the item being reviewed. That is my total focus on all my reviews. I totally leave any ego out of it. It gets in the way and it's just nonsense. 7 yards, 5th July 1997. This is a Glock 26 I was shooting, duty gun. 12 rounds, 124 grain, pro load. What's pro load? Well, that was a generic reload back then. Semi-rapid fire, by the way. There you go. That's pretty good. 7 yards. Some of you guys say, oh, 7 yards, that's a joke. Well, you're stupid if you practice all the time at 25 yards. Most of your combat engagements are going to be well within 15 yards. So you should practice accordingly. Just like I say in my desert clinic to you guys. There's another target. 7 yards. What do you know? That was Glock 26 with an extended magazine. Several. I was using some Glock 17 mags on this to see if they would rock back and forth and maybe cause some reliability problems. Because if I'm going to carry it for duty purposes, I better make sure that indeed it fits and it functions with larger magazines. As you can see, the accuracy again is pretty tight. Let's go to some more targets. This is the first time I'd ever shot a Glock 26. Again, going back to 1996. I guess that's when I first shot mine. Sold this particular gun. Wish I hadn't. That was stupid. Anyways, this is goofing around, this group right here. And I just keep it real. I don't try to impress you guys. I don't care about that. If I suck, I'll let you know. There's seven yard group right there. That's not too shabby. Gets better though. There's a 7 yard group. Again, these are reloads I'm shooting. This is not factory ammo. That's pretty good. Let me get my Swiss Army knife pointer here. It works better than my goofy finger. Check this out though. This is what's intriguing. This here is a 25 yard group with a Glock 26. Be interested. Yeah, I'm shooting right. You've probably seen that before in the desert. It might be my eyes. Not might, it is my eyes. There's a flyer. But that is a group at 25 yards from a subcompact 9mm pistol? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's a Glock 26 for you. Now you see why I'm such a big fan. Well, I kind of started sucking in this group. That's a 7 yard standing, blazer and pro load. And again, I actually remember I was putting a lot of different rounds through this one to see if it would indeed cycle mixed rounds out of the magazine. There's 7 yards standing. Not too bad. I'm a perfectionist, so at 7 yards, I want all my rounds to be definitely within orange, hopefully one hole. That's what I'm shooting for, no pun intended. Now we're talking. 6 rounds Starfire, that was my duty load back then, 124 grain Starfire, plus 2 rounds Blazer. That's what I'm after right there. Finally, 124 grain Starfire again, 7 yards standing, semi-rapid fire. That's what the gun is capable of. So you get the picture. The Glock 26 is just downright accurate, amazingly accurate. Capable as the Glock 17. It really is. In my experience, this gun is as accurate as this gun. And the 19. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. At least the way I shoot, I can shoot equally good groups with a subcompact 26. I am not joshing you. Sorry, I got to adjust this camera. It's not an earthquake, it's me trying to adjust it. So, it's very, very accurate, as I've demonstrated. The only thing you're going to lose with a compact 26 or a 27 versus their full-size counterparts is sight radius. It is shorter. And I shoot generally a longer sight radius better. And you may say, well, that's not much. Well, it's not, but it makes a difference. And I like a longer sight radius. But this is a bigger gun, harder to conceal, harder to carry. The subcompact blows it away in terms of concealed options that you would have carrying your pistol. So I will take the shorter sight radius. I will train with a shorter sight radius. And as you can see, you can shoot it well if you train with it. Just like most guns, most things. So, accurate, you betcha. That takes us to ergonomics. How ergonomic is a 26? Well, some dudes have issues with it because they wrap their hand around a 26. It's mostly guys with bigger hands, or gals for that matter, female officers. And they don't like how Mr. Pinky kind of dangles off into spacey space here. Okay. What does Nutnfancy think about that? I think that's a non-issue. I really do. Train that way. Train with 2 fingers. You'll get good at it. Dry fire it and shoot it. You'll find that it's not as big an issue as you think it is. If it is just something you cannot overcome, then put a +2 base plate on it. So you have 12 rounds. I do not recommend, however, putting a grip extension on a Glock 26 or 27. Because what that does is dimensionally increase our subcompact pistol, and it doesn't give us anything in return except a little bit extra ergos. If I put a +2 base plate on it like this owner's done, then I have extra firepower. Rock on. Now I'm interested. And as a byproduct of that, then I do indeed have a little bit more real estate to put my pinky on. Excellent. But don't just put a base plate on there, or extended grip thing. That's just that's laziness, I think. Train with it that way. The ones you just saw me shooting, most of them were shot just like I'm holding it, because I was indeed training with 2 fingers. I'll prove it in the desert if I can get a 26. If this dude will let me take it out in the desert and shoot this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll shoot it just with 2 fingers. I'd prefer to shoot it with 3 fingers, and if I have a +2 base plate like this magazine does, by the way, that's a non-Glock base plate, not really sure what brand it is. But if I have a +2 base plate, then I'll use it. You betcha. Other ergonomics on the 26? Excellent. And a lot of the same things I talked to the 17 apply to the baby Glocks as well. I like the grip angle. Find no issues with them. I would say criticism I would have is the stock slide release ergonomically. It absolutely sucks. And as you can see, the owner has replaced it with a Glock 34 slide release lever, which is very affordable to do. It's not an Aerotech or expensive one. It's just a slide release lever off a Glock 34. And it's extended, giving you an extended moment arm, making it easier to release that slide. I'm not going to let it slam home. But I like that. I think the stock slide release off the Glocks pretty much blows. Don't like it. So that's a great addition to it. Now a lot of you guys say, well, I don't use a slide release lever. I just go ahead and rack the slide back. And that's fine. I understand that. And under stress, our fine motor skills will deteriorate kind of like my speaking ability does as I go on in this video. But what I'm talking about is a lot of guys say, I'll just rack the slide back, and that's how I'm going to jack a new round. The problem with that, it's a two-handed affair. So I like everything to be one-handed whenever possible, and extended slide release on a Glock makes that possible. So that's the only critique I have of a Glock, or criticism I have of the Glock ergos, is the slide release. So that takes us to simplicity. How simple is a Glock? Dudes, do I even need to tell you? I mean, I talked about it a lot with the Glock 17. It has fewer parts, moving parts, than almost any other pistol design, semi-automatic pistol design that I know of. Amazing. Look how fast it is to take apart. Ta-da! Does it get any easier? I haven't seen it if it does. Now, of course, a SIG's easy to take apart. There's lots of really nice guns that are easy to take apart, but the field stripping on the Glock is superior. And it has fewer parts. It's simple. It works. Enough on that, really. Oh, no, not enough on that, because there's something I want to tell you. Another advantage of the Glock design, and I know I said it with the 17 review, I have to repeat it here because some guys will not watch that review. They're in the market for a subcompact pistol and they're busy, so they probably won't watch it. I'm going to bring out that SR9 I have on loan from Ruger to show you. The SR9 is an excellent pistol. You can reference my tactical clinic shooting on it. I will do a tabletop review on this excellent high-value 9mm semi-automatic pistol. Watch for it. Subscribe. It's coming. But it is a little bit more complex than the Glock. Why? Because they put a safety on it. Now, I think that's probably an outgrowth of them initially not having a safe action style trigger. That was added after the recall because they had some ADs, accidental discharges. The Glock always had a safe action trigger. That's the way it was designed by Gaston Glock, and you can see that the SR9 basically copied it. Maybe internally it's different, but the function is the same. But now you have a lot of safety on the SR9, if you ask me, too much, because you have this safety. What if it accidentally gets swept on during a firefight or something? So we pull the trigger and we're under stress, we forget. Again, we've had a lot of officers over time who have gotten shot because they have left their safety on their duty firearm, whether it's a Model 92, Beretta, whatever. Don't say it can't happen. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It just depends. If you have a double-barreled shotgun pointed in your face by a drug dealer and you are about 1 second from dying and you pull out your gun, you just might forget to do that. You don't have to worry about that with a Glock. It doesn't have a safety lever on the side. Safety's right here and has two other internal safeties. Simple is better. Complicated could get you killed unless you're really good and you train to the level where you bypass reason, thought. It's just muscle memory keeping you alive. But I like the simplicity of the Glock. I also like that it doesn't have a magazine disconnect. So if I'm topping it, bam, 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 in a firefight and I need to put in a fresh mag, I can keep that magazine in the chamber and I'm ready to rock and roll. And if I have to fire without a magazine, I can do it. Very nice. Simple, works, great ergos. That takes us to accessories of the Glock 26 subcompact, by virtue of the Glock 27 as well. Tons of accessories. I already talked about this. You can put all kinds of slide release levers on there. What's this stuff the dude's got on there? That's actually called, if I'm not mistaken, Brooks Tactical A-Grip. It's like a synthetic suede. And yes, you're supposed to cover your magazine release with it. That's not a mistake that the owner made. And it works just fine that way. As Brooks Tactical tells you, cover the magazine release lever. And it still functions, as you can see, no problemo at all. Provides a very nice stick and adhesion to the grip surface. You can see it how tight it follows the curvature and the lines of the grip of the 26. It's just an excellent grip material. Here it's peeling away a little bit. That would be a disadvantage. Over time it will peel and will wear. And it's also expensive. This isn't, of course, a Glock-only accessory. It's all kinds of handguns they have it for. but just another accessory. These are Meprolite night sights. You can get those. You can get 3.5 pound triggers or trigger disconnectors. I'm not going to take this part again. It's inside here. You can replace a part in there, and it will lighten the trigger part pull up of a Glock to around 3.5 pounds. Sights, levers, grips, magazines, magazine extensions, trigger accessories, different types of triggers. Look, on the Glock 17, it's a smooth face Glock factory trigger. Then you have the serrated one in the background of the 26. That's what I'm talking about. Very accessorized, no problem. That takes us a price, and I gotta hurry because I ain't doing a part 3. It's a lot of gun for the money. It's going to be cheaper than a Glock. Cheaper than a SIG, cheaper than an AK. Not going to say how much, but the Glocks are very high value guns for what you get, and the 26 is no less of a value. It's just amazing. Track record of all the thousands of rounds I've shot in the Glock 26, of all the thousands of rounds my colleagues and friends have shot in both Glock 26s and 27s, I have heard of no problems. I've never heard of anyone complaining about it, how this jammed, it didn't cycle this, it sucked, it short stroked. No, didn't hear about limp wristing problems. The Glock 26 just works. So, let's go down the list again, if I can. Weight rocks, firepower rocks, durability, reliability, blah, blah, blah. It's all A+. Does Nutnfancy dislike anything about the 26? Yes, I do. Width. That's my only criticism on the gun. It is blocky as a Glock 17, and in terms of carryability, if you're doing a belly band carry, maybe fanny pack carry, not a factor, but a belly band carry, the Glock 26 is chunky, and you might be bumping into it. And I think the Kahr PM series would be better in that respect. But in all other talking points and categories, the Glock 26 truly excels. It's one of the best subcompact pistols in the entire world. Hands down, and I found that to be true from my own service experience with it. Thanks for watching. That's the end of part 2. Nutnfancy. I need your guys' support. I appreciate the good ratings. I work hard to get you this information, and because you rate me so well and you hang by me the whole time, I'll continue to do it. Thanks a lot. Nutnfancy out.